feel this way forever. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Welcome guys to round 13 of the F1 2016 career mode. Hope you guys are enjoying this double episode. As you saw before, this is another, or as you know now, this is another post-recording, simply because I didn't have the time to record live. As you can see, we're just straight into qualifying, simply because, as I always do, if it is raining, I don't do any practice. I don't feel like there's any need, since qualifying in race, I don't get any. I do get the tokens and all that, but it's no big difference. So I went straight into qualifying. First lap, that was our second flying lap, sorry, and we went pretty fast. We didn't exactly go best in terms of lap time, but now we're going into the pits to put a fresh set of tires on, send it to the end of the session, and see what we can do. So going into the pits now, we're gonna go back on track. We've done 3 laps so far, and now here is our second last flying lap. So far so good. A little bit of a lock up on the right hand wheel, right hand brake. So coming down the straight, or coming down from the corner, as you can see, Hulkenberg out of nowhere is just sitting there. I don't know why, and as you can hear from the engine, he was just starting to go. So for some reason he was just sitting there. Here we are. DRS, we're going a bit on the grass, but we do set a fastest sector 1, and I do manage to do fast sector 1s on this track for some reason, and then fail in sector 2 and sector 3. I don't know why, but as you can see, we're already in the red for the delta, so we need to make up some time if we want to get anywhere near the front of the grid. Coming on to the final lap now. I'm sorry that this is fast qualifying. There wasn't much to do in qualifying, and it is a long track, so it's not exactly a Monza or Monaco. But on the last lap, once again, we are 8 tenths up, and we're going to get purple. As you can see, purple straight up in sector 1. What can we do? Riding over the curbs, a little bit of a corner cut because the rear end slid out. Coming on to the end of the lap now, we're green. We're just green now. We're half a second green, but it's going down with 2 tenths, 1 tenth, less than a tenth, but we do go green. However, I don't believe it was enough to secure any type of good position. As you can see, we finished 8th, but the interesting part is what you're going to see next. The top, let's say the top 9 drivers were all in a 1 minute 50. 8 tenths separate, or 7.6 tenths separated, or 7 tenths separated the top 9. But here we are. We're going to go straight into the race. We're going to do a little debrief of this circuit and what we're expecting while it does this amazing cinematic shot of everything. So Belgium Grand Prix is definitely one of my favorite tracks. I love the track for its speed. I love it for just the corners, the way you can the way you can attack the corners is pretty amazing. This and Monza are my favorite circuits, just simply because the way you can attack the speed and everything. From this race, we are expecting a podium finish, as last time we got a podium. We need the podium. We need to beat Rosberg. Our priority is to get ahead of Rosberg in this race, to be ahead of him in the championship, in the drivers' standings. He's only 1 point ahead, so if he wins this race and we come second, he'll be a few points ahead. So we need to beat him, just to get ahead of him. Ricciardo and Hamilton are a bit ahead of us, so that's maybe 1 to 2 races later down the road if we can do anything this race. But we're gonna skip the formation. As always, I put in an extra kilo of fuel simply because I can burn it off. And this track, I definitely started to lose a lot of fuel, as you're gonna see during this race. But we have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out and away we go, and we're going down past Massa. Can we get it done? We sort of going wheel to wheel, and this is amazing, this circuit, for this first corner. As you can see, we're going 3 wide into the first corner. Vettel's still sitting on the outside, but now he's behind. We got Ricciardo. We got Hamilton, Ricciardo, Rosberg, and I believe that is Bottas ahead. Bottas leading the pack, and look at this, 4-5 cars, and we're going around Ricciardo off the racing track because he didn't leave enough room for us. We got slipstream on Ricciardo, slipstream on Hamilton. look at Rosberg going on Bottas, and we're going to dive bomb both of them into the corner, and we get P1 in essentially not even half a lap, but we got yellow flags, and all of a sudden I'm wondering what the yellow flags were for, because it's always interesting to see what happened. And I could hear something behind me, but as you're going to see from this replay, there it goes, Bottas. He got spun out by Rosberg, and I don't think that I don't see that as a problem for Rosberg, like a penalty. That was just simply a racing incident. 3 cars into a corner, of course something's going to happen. Here we are on the end of lap 1. We got both Mercedes attacking me, but that's not the thing. Both Mercedes are attacking each other. You just saw Hamilton push Rosberg off the track essentially. This is amazing. I was quite stoked to have both Mercedes right behind me, battling me and battling each other. But now Rosberg got the advantage on Hamilton. We're going to set the fastest lap, even though we started 8th, which was interesting. On lap 2 now, we're going to come around the corner. Now the end of lap, or halfway through lap 2. This is when I got the strategy change, or got the choice to change my strategy. I decided to not to, and I sort of thought it was a good idea at the time, but now, as you can see, I'm just struggling with the tires. As soon as you get given that strategy, it is something else. So I'm struggling with the tires. Hamilton got past us. Rosberg is on our tail. He knows we're struggling. He can see it, but we're going to see if we can do anything on Hamilton. We don't decide to dive just yet, but we're definitely on the rear of Hamilton, just waiting for a mistake, waiting for a slipstream, anything. But essentially DRS is now available on lap 3. Hamilton set the fastest lap time so far in this race, but we're going to get DRS. We're within a second. Rosberg is right behind us. He's within a second, possibly, but here we go. DRS, now we get DRS to activate after ROUGE. So top of the hill, slipstream, essentially the slipstream is going to give us the boost anyway, but DRS gives us the extra momentum to get past Hamilton. As you can see, purple sector 1, and Kevin Magnussen was out of the race. Now this is where it gets interesting. If any of you guys remember the incident with Kevin Magnussen this year, or last year, Belgium Grand Prix, this is almost identical. He does crash in the same spot, but look at this. Now the actual Kevin Magnussen did go head on first into the wall, but he did crash at the same spot. Now that was very interesting, but we're going to continue on lap 3, halfway through. We're going around, I forgot the name of the corner. I know one of the corners have no names, so I'm not sure if that was the one before it, but we're going to have Hamilton attack us now. He is right behind us. Rosberg is right behind him. As you can see in the mirrors on my car, both Mercedes and I'm struggling. I pit this lap, but I need to get to the pit before I do anything worse with the car, with the traction. Simply, the traction's just not there. I'm getting my words mumbled and all that, but traction is not there. Hamilton and Rosberg, look at that in the mirrors, having a go, and both Rosberg had a go on Hamilton now, pushing Hamilton off the track. Rosberg is ahead, both cars are still there. Hamilton is ahead, but now Hamilton follows us into the pits. And so we come in on lap 3 to switch our tires onto a soft compound. Hamilton's right behind me. This is when I know I need the team to be as fast as possible, and thankfully they were. And I believe that car, whoever it is, it's Massa. Thankfully Massa held up Hamilton just enough to give us a gap. And 2 seconds, almost a 2-second flat pit stop is amazing. And we come back out in P11. Not much traffic ahead of us except for Grosjean, who brakes very early. We had to slam on the brakes just because of that, but here we are on the end of lap 4, starting lap 5. Can we get the undercut on Rosberg and Ricciardo? This is it. Rosberg is right there, and do we get it? Yes, we do. Look how close it was. Rosberg exiting the pits as we came around the corner. Now that is interesting, but end of lap 5 now. Rosberg, he got the momentum from his fresh new tires, and there he goes down the inside, But here we are to the end of lap 5, still going down on Rosberg. At this stage, I was like, I'm going to have to make this car as wide as possible. So I decided to not turn and do a Rosberg and just go straight through that corner, seeing what I can do. However, Rosberg was going slow enough, so he went around me. Lap 6 now, Rosberg used DRS on us on the back straight. So let's see what we can do. Lap 7 now, Rosberg is still ahead. And out of nowhere, safety car is deployed. And I believe this was because of Carlos Sainz. He did retire. I didn't see what happened, so it must have been something pretty bad. But he did retire, and now we are essentially just warming the tyres for the next 2 laps. As now the safety car is coming in this lap. And as you can see, I'm doing something very, very risky. I am essentially riding alongside Rosberg, not letting him get the advantage on the start, because as you can see, once we both make it to the end of this lap, it's only essentially 1 and 2 laps to go. We have 2 laps to go. I'm sitting next to him. I started to ghost because I'm going that slow, and I'm inside of Rosberg. Ghosting still. I need to maintain my speed, and there we go. We're about to resume racing. I'm waiting for the yellows. I cannot overtake just yet. Yellow flag's still there. I have to slam on the brakes once again, and there we go, green flags, and we're back to racing, and we get the better exit compared to Rosberg, and we get P1. We're back in P1. We have 2 laps to go. On lap 10 now, just not enough traction to get around that corner, not enough downforce, and Rosberg gets the lead. And at this stage, I was in a panic. I need to get in front of him as fast as possible. On the final lap, Rosberg is still in the lead. Up at ROUGE, we're going to get a bit crazy with that, the dirty air from Rosberg's car, so we did have to corner cut a bit. Slipstream is not enough. Look at this. It is not enough for us to pass, and we have to do something. So we're going to dive bomb in the corner, wheel to wheel, and Rosberg is just head down. We get better exit, so we're ahead. Sector 1 is our fastest lap, and there we go. We are in P1, and at this stage I had damage, and you're going to see I'm going to struggle. I have to slow down as much as possible and get the corners correct. And 4th gear around this corner, I'm going so slowly. I have to try and do my best. Look at this. I'm going out wide because I need to make this car as wide as possible. I need to corner the best I can. 3rd gear around here is essentially not a 3rd gear corner. I have to slow down as fast or as much as possible and hold these guys up. And this is it. Rosberg, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, they're all on my tail. Rosberg gave us a little push, and there we go. Raikkonen down the outside, and I had to go out. I'm sorry, Raikkonen, about that, but I just had no front wing. But there we go. It is still very close, locking up into the final corner, into the bus stop chicane. There we go, exit of that bus stop chicane, and the checkered flag is right in front of us, and it is P1 for us. Amazing victory, very aggressive race, and that's always what it is when you're so close to winning a race. It essentially does turn into an aggressive race, and so we were thankful that we didn't get penalized for anything, and the stewards thought it was a fair race, so they didn't give us any penalties. But there we have it, P1, our first race win in a while, and Red Bull got a P1, P3, Rosberg in P2, Hamilton I believe was P5, Raikkonen, sorry, P4. And so essentially this does put us ahead of Rosberg in the Drivers' Championship. Not ahead of Ricciardo just yet, and not ahead of Hamilton, but we are getting very, very close. So there you have it. There's the drivers. There's the race results. Hamilton, finished P6. So Kimi and Bottas got in front of him. In terms of the driver standings, there it is. We are there it is. We are P3, ahead of Rosberg. We're 18 points behind our teammate, and Lewis Hamilton. Oh, we're not 18. We're 18. Ricciardo is 18 points behind Lewis, and we are 28 behind Lewis. There's the constructors. It is so close. all Red Bull needs is a 1-2 finish, and we are going to be God. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and see ya.